Okay guys, in your homework tonight, I asked you in part B, I asked you to identify the intervals where the function is positive or negative, and I realized we did not talk about that in class, so I wanted to briefly explain to you what it means for a function to be positive or negative. You can see on the graph that this part of my graph and that part of my graph are above the x-axis. So if this is the mark of 0, everything above there is positive, and everything below there is negative. Okay, these points are x-intercepts right on the graph. They are at 0, so they are neither positive nor negative. So they're not going to count. But what I'm going to look at, when I'm looking for the interval where it's positive or negative, the y values up and down vertically show you this is positive, this is negative. But the interval is going to take place over a range of x values. So I'm going to mark in. This is where I shift from being positive to being negative, meaning every x value, for any x value, this way the y value is going to be positive. Any x value that direction, the y value will be positive. But if you plug in any input in between here and here, the output is going to be negative. So these are our intervals. Hopefully the color helps you visualize that. If I were going to write the interval where it is positive, I could use interval notation, and that would be, I'm going to start all the way at negative infinity and go up to -3, and then I'm going to start at 1 and go all the way to. So for positive, I'm going to say from negative infinity up to -3, as well as from 1 to infinity, and that would be my interval notation. I can also use set notation, and I could say that either where x is less than -3 or, sorry, not or, I'm going to say everywhere it's less than -3 and everywhere x is greater than 1. So that would be the set notation. For negative of this graph, I'm looking at everything in between my two x-intercepts. So that would be from -3 to +1, or written in set notation, I could say x has to be less than 1 and greater than -3. So keep in mind, you're looking for areas where the graph is above the x-axis and where it's below the x-axis. That tells you, then you think about that, where are the intervals? What are the intervals for which the x values, if you put in the x value, you'd get a positive output, or if you put in the x value, would you get a negative output? And those are the intervals you're looking for. Hope that helps.